When starting out with a new client, it's very important to start with a customized approach. And the reason for that is you're going to determine what they need. And a lot of this comes from the learning phase in the onboarding process. You'll have some clients that are just like, hey, I just have 10K. I just want you to use that. Tell me what you need to do. That's great. Those are hard to come by. But a lot of the times clients are just like, hey, I'm not quite sure what I need. So it's super important to be customized and take your hourly rates and build into that retainer or that fixed monthly number, right? And that's part of the learning phase where you're learning about their needs. You're also upselling them on things that they may want that they didn't know you provided. So you're going to every retainer starts with hourly rates, and then you work up to a fixed amount. And the whole point of having the fixed amount is you know what's coming in and what is predictable each month for your business, but also the client knows what they're spending. Some key points: reflect their business model. So like a lot of the times startups, they prefer flexible monthly billing tied to a budget, while a more established company may want that predictability of knowing exactly what's coming out each month. And then it's up to you to do the daily reporting to determine in your team that you're staying within budget and you're not paying people more than they're paying you. And then another key point is create long-term trust. So when you're willing to customize what they pay, you're showing your willingness to grow with them and to learn with them. So each month you kind of determine how much they're going to spend. And by the end of the month, you're like, all right, we spent this much. And they're like, actually, we want to dial that back. Or, hey, we have a little bit extra. And then you're like, okay, it's 10K. Now we're going to go to 12K, or we're going to go back to 8K, and just determine that. And over about 3 to 4 months, you're going to get that dialed in. As you know, transparency is the foundation, right? So some key points there are upfront communication. So making sure before any work begins and in the learning phase, you're really clear about your billing process, how you charge, your hourly rates. And then also you're going to talk about transition plans to retainers or budgets. So you might start with these hourly rates and then transition into a more fixed income. And then definitely have these processes in place to track and manage these hours so that you're not putting in unexpected costs for them and yourself. Consistent reporting. So you're going to want to be able to share detailed real-time reports on the work being done. And this can be through Slack channels, which is what we use. We also use Google Sheets and other automated tools, and we're still developing, and that's still growing, and we're changing that constantly. But the whole point is that we need to have healthy margins. The client wants to know what they're paying for, and then I need to know what to bill them for. And so there's a whole process that we've developed that I'm going to go through as we get through this entire section. So the other thing is we want to avoid surprises. A client being caught off guard with a price or a charge that they didn't expect, or spending more than they planned, the worst thing you can do to a relationship. So then I offer a practical example, which is, let's say a client approves $15,000 per month. And so by using our daily reporting system, we notice the team is approaching that budget, right? And we're maybe only 2 weeks into a month. Like we did a huge shoot, we did a few edits the next week, and now we're like, crap, we're already approaching. We'll have bi-weekly emails that we send out that say, hey, because of this and this and this, we're now approaching your budget. How do we want to adjust? Do we want to pull some of the budget from the next month and put it into January? Or do we want to actually just stop work for 2 weeks and then start in February so that we stay within that $15,000 budget? And all of this just ensures clients feel in control and are seeing exactly what you're doing for them. And it just builds trust. You're in this with them, and you never want to just be like, here's a bill, and just be like, I hope they don't say anything, because they're going to say something. 90% of the time you're going to get a question, and that's the worst. You want to just avoid that. And if the question and leave the questions out of it, because they can look at the invoice and clearly see what it was.